Psychiatry is a big deal because 1 out of 4 people we see every day have a mental illness, and these mental illnesses has got to do with the dysregulation of your mood, your behavior, and your thought processes that affects how you cope with life, and goes a long way to affect your activity of daily living. One may ask, what are the general causes of psychiatric illnesses that goes a long way to affect family? And it's interesting because if someone has schizophrenia, depression, autism, the burden and the cost of this condition on the family is huge. So there's actually a need for you to get more insight into how they come about. Now, with the causes of psychiatric illnesses, I'll take it 3 ways. So we have 3 things. We have the host factors, that's you as an individual. We have environmental factors, which are the what we call the stressors or the precipitators, and you also have agents that directly help, and an interplay of these 3 causes mental health illnesses. Host factors, we are talking about your age, we are talking about gender, whether you're a male or female. We are talking about you having a genetic predisposition of getting a mental illness. You have mental illness in your family. What type is it? Is it schizophrenia? Is it depression? Is it bipolar affective disorder? There's that risk of inheriting it from one generation to the another. So you have to beware. And if you have these genetic tendencies, then you have to be careful with how you cope with the events of life. The second one, which is environmental factors. So how do you relate with yourself when there's demise of a close relation? That can be a stressor. Disappointment, you have a breakup in a relationship, you've lost someone, you have issues and you've been sacked at work, there's divorce and poverty. All these things are risk factors which can precipitate or trigger a mental illness. And the third one has got to do with the agents that directly affect the brain to cause mental illness. And with this, you're talking about one, maybe a brain infection. You have meningitis, you had cerebral malaria, it puts you at risk. That's 1. 2, if you have a brain tumor, you have that tendency or risk of getting a mental illness. Again, still in that category, we are talking about things that affect the brain. So individuals who have biochemical imbalances. So you have, by virtue of no fault of yours, you are born with a state where the dopamine level, that's the chemicals in your brain, are not in equilibrium. So it puts you at risk of getting a mental illness. All these 3 things interplay to bring out whatever mental illness we have. One of the common mental illnesses is depression. And then depression, we have people with a very sad mood, low energy, and this goes a long way to affect productivity. They lose interest in things that usually make them happy, what we call anhedonia. They have sleep problems. They can't really sleep well. They have appetite issues. They eat too much or they eat too little, and they are always isolated. And such people are not able to function as someone who is not ill. So all these things go around and affect us one way or the other. So be very careful, know more about the symptoms of these disease conditions, and it will go a long way to help you, because early diagnosis and treatment comes with good outcome. Thank you.